Necrophilia is still legal.
Build that wall. Build that wall.
I don't know. At least we're getting an In-N-Out burger. Yeah. So why is everyone leaving New Mexico? So in this video, we're gonna deconstruct some economic factors, migration patterns, reasons to stay, and reasons to go. Plus, stay to the end of this video where I'm gonna break down where the best school districts are and find out why people are moving to certain locations versus others. This is all about Albuquerque. Hey, it's Skip at Sold by Skip, the Albuquerque real estate guy. And in this video, we're gonna be bouncing all over Albuquerque to figure out why people are leaving, why people are coming, and basically, what's the overall status of our housing market and our economy here locally. We post videos like this every week, so if it's your first time to the channel and you wanna learn everything about Albuquerque, including what it's like to live here, work here, and play here, go ahead and just tap that subscribe button, ring the little bell, that way you're notified every time we post a new video. Now, my team has been helping people from all over the world buy and sell real estate here in Albuquerque, and we look forward to connecting with you too. So give me a call or shoot me a text. Now, when a city experiences a mass exodus, it generally breaks down to three separate reasons: economic opportunities, quality of life factors, real estate, and the cost of living. Now, as you know, Albuquerque has a relatively low cost of living and some pretty new economic driving factors. So, are people actually leaving Albuquerque? Well, let's break it down. Over the last few years since the Great Migration, we've actually noticed an increase in our population. Now, over the past, Albuquerque typically has a net population, meaning the same amount of people move here as leave here. We've seen an uptick of about 1% in population each year. The current metro area population of Albuquerque in 2024 is somewhere around 967,000. And that's about a 4% increase in population since the Great Migration started back in 2021. But let's break that down even further. Let's jump online and see where people are moving from and where people are moving to.
So when we analyze things like population growth in Albuquerque, New Mexico in general, it's always fun to see a couple different stats. Where are people coming from? Where are people moving to? And what's the overall strength of our housing market here locally? So if you've never done it, I always recommend jumping onto websites like Redfin or Zillow, and they'll give you the most up-to-date stats. So for instance, to compare other locations, the Albuquerque U.S. housing market, our median sales price is about 22% lower than the overall national average. And to speak to that, it's like when I met my wife in San Diego, I was like, hey, do you want to let's move to a place where it's like more affordable and there's no traffic, great weather, you can get a kick-ass house. She's like, yeah, but where is that? And I'm like, a little magic place called Albuquerque. So this website just kind of reinforces that, our cost of living is substantially lower than the national average. But this is what I wanted to jump into when it comes to migration patterns. Redfin always puts out every quarter, every month, where are people moving to Albuquerque from? So if you follow this graphic down here, you'll see people from all over the United States coming to Albuquerque. And number one, here we go, Los Angeles. So people just leaving California and they're coming to New Mexico and Albuquerque. Number two, Dallas. Ooh. Build that wall. Dude, we even built the wall and people are still coming from Texas. They just want to be a part of us, We get that, Texas, not a big deal. But you'll see, this graph and this trend of where people are actually moving to. So when we talk about our population growing, 4 to 5% over the last few years, this is kind of what it looks like. Now, on the other hand, where are people leaving Albuquerque and going? And this was something I thought that was very interesting is Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, this changes every quarter, but most recently, everyone's leaving Albuquerque and going to Minneapolis. And I'm not shitting on Minneapolis. It's a gorgeous place. I mean, if you're into tall Scandinavian women, I moved back to Minneapolis. I actually lived there for a summer one time, played baseball. Great fans, great weather. Dude, I love it up there. The Midwestern folk are amazing. Ooh, Hawaii. Look at Hawaii's on the list. But all these places are about as different from our high desert climate as you could possibly get. But those are just to speak to the fact when we talk about population and migration patterns, that's what it looks like.
People moving from Texas. Here's the funny thing, and here's why I always say build that wall, build that wall. And I'm not talking about a wall between the US and Mexico. I'm talking about the border wall, which now exists between New Mexico and our route into neighbors to the east, Texas.
Governor's decision to put up a border fence between two United States in the land of the free.
National Guard installed 18 miles of razor wire along the Texas and New Mexico border.
Now, I took the time to put together a comprehensive relocation guide, which I've left a link for down below. So if you want all my tips and tricks on the best places to be and the process for getting out here, go ahead and click that link and it's free for you. Question: which social media platform are you most active on? I encourage you to reach out. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Just search @SoldBySkip and follow along. I look forward to seeing you there. You can always tell if a city is struggling or if a city is on its way up when it comes to economic opportunity and the overall well-being of the city in general. Now, when big corporations take a look at a city, they're looking at population growth, economic drivers, and overall quality of life. Are people moving here? And what our stats have shown is that Albuquerque continues to grow. When you look at surrounding areas like Denver, Dallas, Phoenix, they've all exploded exponentially already, and their real estate values are starting to come back down or cool off. Now, where we are in our housing market and overall strength of our economy locally, we're still growing. Now, Albuquerque, like we said, has grown about 4% in population over the last 4 years. So companies are starting to understand that Albuquerque is a next emerging market. Case in point, we are getting an In-N-Out burger. So that's definitely going to put us on the map. So what do you think so far? We've got some crazy news headlines here for New Mexico. Are those a deterrent, or what are some of the great things you've heard about Albuquerque? And would you ever consider moving here? Leave a comment in the section below and I'll reach out to you personally. There's no secret that the state of New Mexico dislikes our neighbors to the east, Texas. And that's because Texas has a history of trying to invade New Mexico. And we've successfully fought them off over the years, I think 3 times in our state's history. And you can see those migration patterns of people leaving Texas and coming to New Mexico. If you're super weird, like, why wouldn't you want to move here? Necrophilia is still legal.
Planning to introduce a bill to outlaw necrophilia in New Mexico. That's the act of having sex with a deceased person.
Yeah, I didn't say we're a perfect state, but there are some pros and cons when living in the American Southwest. I mean, it's the Wild West after all. What are they going to do? Take our guns?
Well, the outrage continues over New Mexico's Democrat governor limiting the right to legally carry guns in Albuquerque, the state's most dangerous and populous city.
So when we look at these migration maps and it shows that people from all over the US are moving to Albuquerque, it's important to understand, where are they moving? Like, what are some of the best parts of town to live in? Well, I think that the best parts of town typically go hand in hand with the best school districts in town. We dug up some information online I'm happy to share with you so you get a better understanding of where people are moving in our city and why.
Let's talk about school ratings. Now, as a real estate agent, I am not allowed to give you my personal opinion on what are the best schools, best school districts, stuff like that. However, we can always jump online and use the magic of the internet and a little website called niche.com to dive a little bit deeper into some school stats and figure out which school districts are the best and which are pretty good and might be worthy enough of living in that district. And I just searched by high schools because at the end of the day, that's usually what's most important. I got 2 little girls under 2 years old. We're planning on buying a house here shortly, but we want to make sure we're in the right school district for high school. Elementary school is whatever. I mean, you're just doing paint by number, finger paints. Is that what they do? Finger paints? I'm pretty disconnected. But either way, high schools, this is what you want to look for. So number 1 on the list is La Cueva High School. That's where I went. Sandia High School, number 2, El Dorado. And then you'll scroll down, you'll see Albuquerque Cleveland High School. This is the first one you're going to see that's actually in Rio Rancho. Rio Rancho is located just outside of Albuquerque to the north and west. So Cleveland High School is edging out Rio Rancho High School here in the top 10. And so where are most of the people that are relocating to Albuquerque? What part of town are they looking in? Northeast Heights, Rio Rancho, or the northwest part of town? So remember, Albuquerque is broken up into 4 quadrants, northeast and northwest. And this is typically where we see most of the people that are coming to town relocate to. It's very price point driven, but also when it breaks down to, according to niche.com, the school districts, these are the areas and why they're usually most preferred.
So if you've had any thoughts about making that move to, in, or around Albuquerque, be sure to reach out. You can always give me a call or shoot me a text. Wait! Before you leave, I want to share another video you might find informative by clicking up here. And lastly, friends, don't forget to subscribe by clicking this link to stay up to date with future videos. As always, visit soldbyskip.com for a free list of homes priced to sell. Thanks for watching.